Welcome back, everybody. My name is Chad Brock.
And I'm Zach Bailiff.
You're watching or listening to the Orion Podcast. What is up? Welcome back. Let me turn my ringer off here. That's always nice when you're hosting a podcast and it's like,
Yeah, I was trying to remember to grab everything I needed when I came down here tonight. It's been too long. I forgot how to do it.
No, you ain't forgotten nothing. Man, tablet's all jacked up. I got notes and notifications everywhere where I just leave it on. So, man, yeah, you missed the last episode. You've been gone. You've been to
I've been gone for a while. Disney World. I stay out of California.
Disney World, California, Florida. Been around, dude. I've been to Red Crest. The Bassmaster Classics happened. But yeah, man, like some super serious stuff going on. We've got JK Fun Tours. You're getting close to heading to.
I've got to go to California at the beginning of May.
Got to go to California.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
One of the only reasons I want to go out there, and that's the big Reading Western Classic trail shoot. So it's going to be.
Dude, I looked at April, and it was like, like the anxiety that April was coming, and the madness was like fully beginning. Like started creeping in, and now it's like freaking April, and now it's like Wednesday nighters, Thursday nighters, and fishing derbies. USA Bass and Jackson Kayak Trail is kicking off in Indiana this weekend, so I got to get in on that action and get out there for it. So be at the fine Patoka Reservoir this coming weekend with one Mr. Josh Gilbert. That'll be good.
It'll be good to get back down there and see the old girl and how she's doing.
She's doing pretty good. Last time I checked on her a few weeks ago. You seen the picture. She's doing good.
Sixers come from.
It's where the Sixers come from. I'm going to a different spot though. I'm going to my. Yeah. I'm gonna burn it down. I've already decided.
We'll be in town this weekend, so I might try and swing by it.
Yeah, you got a pile of stuff over there in the corner.
Yeah. I'll make room in the truck.
Yeah. It's not a big pile, but it's a pile.
It's gonna be a short trip. A little Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Drive back Monday, so it'll be. I might get over, swap out some cards, and drop some mineral in front of the cameras on Friday if I get a minute, and then Saturday, Sunday's pretty much run and gun with the kids and the Easter egg hunting and whatnot. So
it should be dry, dude. It should be dry. We're supposed to get some rain tomorrow, and then it's supposed to dry out. I'm looking forward to it. 80 balmy degrees here today, which is fantastic.
They were forecasting rain every day here this week, and I'm glad it's not rain to drop yet.
And you're gonna get
70 something here today, so it's really nice out.
You'll get to officially meet the nephew.
Yeah, yep.
Officially,
Lacey, wife flew out to Colorado and saw the first nephew a couple weeks ago, which is why I wasn't on here because I was single parenting that day. And we'll see the second new nephew when we go home this weekend. So it'll be good.
That will be good, man. That'll be a good time. So a few items. Podcast toasters eating ice. Can you tell?
Yeah, that's good for audio.
That's ASMR. Good, great for audio. A little static, real professional.
ASMR ice crunching.
It's okay. I work at Jackson Kayak. So a little housekeeping for you guys. We've got Orion coolers. Got a new one dropping. Got a brand new theme dropping. actually going to be launching several themes throughout the summer. You remember last year we did the 55 quart Orion cooler in the earth color. Everything went to Tennessee clean. Wait.
Oh, right there.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Oh
no,
yeah.
the cooler.
Yeah, it's always okay. Moving on. Dropping more of the 55s in some different colorways. I'm going to go to different foundations that we've picked out over the summer. All of us in the marketing department of Jackson Kayak have kind of got something that we want each cooler to go to, and you'll be able to see the themes as we progress throughout the summer of some of these special limited edition Orion 55s. They're coming out once. You'll be able to see them real soon at jacksonkayak.com, so stay watching for that. Cool accessories. We got cool accessories, the new underseat bag, multi-box, rod stagers, Kusa X, NAR FD. Man, there's just like stuff flying out everywhere from Jackson Kayak as far as accessories. Some of those new items hitting the airwaves there. So check all those out as well at jacksonkayak.com. Pick up some new swag. We got new hats, not the visor. I'm the only one with the visor. So we got new hats. We got new shirts. Check them out. Get yourself some. We've got better shipping rates too right now because
Sweet.
Yeah, we fixed that.
That's good considering how expensive shipping has gotten lately.
Yeah, $50 for a T-shirt just wasn't working, so we went back to the drawing board and we got the prices on T-shirts down. Z-Pro lithium batteries or a koozie. Z-Pro lithium batteries, keeping Zach and I pumped up on power for all our fishing adventures this year while we're out filming and doing the different things that we do. So stoked on Z-Pro. Bass Go Fishing, great, fresh swag. Pick some up. BassGoFishing.com. Get you an Only Bass t-shirt. Get you an Only Bass hoodie, whatever you want. Hood, no hood. Get some fresh. Get some solid colors like mine. I prefer solid color. It's just my jam.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the housekeeping. We appreciate you guys being on here. We've got a special guest tonight. He is, I'm going to say, of Instagram fame. He just kind of blew up. He's got a heck of a following. And he posts some really
He's got some funny stuff on there.
He does got some funny stuff. He's genius minded. How's that sound? Genius minded.
I like it.
I like it.
Oh.
From the great state of Oklahoma, I'd like to introduce the one, the only, Mr. Bait and Bougie.
What's up, man?
Zach would love to take that button from me, dude.
I'm gonna sneak in while I'm home and hide it.
If him and my wife get together, that button will be gone.
No, man.
How is the weather out in the western part of the Midwestern?
Oh man, the weather is a roll of the dice every day. You know, today it was really nice, but a little bit cloudy, and then just the wind picked up out of nowhere. I mean, of course, the wind right out here, springtime. That's all you're going to be dealing with. But it's the warming trend is finally here. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's time. It's time to start hitting that water. Water temps are up, probably around 60.
Fishing in derbs. Fishing in derbs.
Time to go.
Mm-hmm.
It is time to go, man. So, dude, like tradition with Orion Podcast. This is a podcast where we find out a little bit more about our guest. And I got to ask you, dude, just like I ask everybody that's here, how did you get started in the outdoors? How did the outdoors find you as a human being? What brought you here?
Well, it was one of those, I was kind of born into it. So my father was a big time sports fisherman. That's what he did. That was his thing. I was born and raised up until 18. I lived in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And so it's just the sport fishing, the saltwater fishing was just intense. That was just pretty much everything my father did, you know, except for going to my sporting events, was surrounded around fishing. So I really kind of just, you know, I was just around it all the time. I you know, you hear those stories of being a young kid with that Snoopy pole, right? That Snoopy Zebco.
Oh, it's hanging on the wall, bro.
I was one of those kids, you know, and it's amazing how many people, when you grow up with that, it just kind of translates or continues on through adulthood. But I actually stopped fishing, you know, once I kind of became a teenager, kind of was doing my own thing, rather play football, rather got into cars and stuff like that.
Girls.
That chasing them, right? Not chasing yellowtail, but other stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Been there.
And then I joined the Army. So it wasn't. So 2007, my father passed, and I did not pick up a rod and reel for a long time. Like I couldn't even use his stuff. I just hit me real bad. But 2017, I want to say, I was in the process of medically retiring out of the Army, and I moved back to Oklahoma in 2016. And here in Oklahoma, we're real lucky. There's tons of bodies of water all over. I mean, just in our little housing development, there's 3 ponds, right? And then you have all kinds of ponds, lakes. I mean, great place to be an outdoorsman, to be an angler, especially. So picked it back up, started doing it again, and here I am.
Nice, dude. Nice. So talking about, what are some of your big memories of being out in San Diego and chasing those surf fish, man? Was you on boat, or was you fishing surf, or just kind of all of it?
A little bit of both, pier, not so much surf fishing, but mainly a lot of pier fishing, a lot of going off the rocks in the bay, and then also being on a boat, both from your regular maybe 16 to 17 footers all the way up to your 27, 30 footers, all the way up to your party boats, your rigs going out for 3-day trips. But probably the craziest, a lot of times they call it bass anglers crazy, but those guys, when you're on a boat for 3 to 14 days.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the first day is just going. I mean, that's a different breed, you gotta love it. That's not your, hey, I like to catch a fish and take a picture of it for Instagram. I mean, that's you're driven.
Yeah.
So that's probably my biggest one. Yeah.
I talk to a guy frequently now. He lives out in Cali. We kind of met through hunting and stuff, but he works on one of those boats as, a guide and stuff. And yeah, when they go out, I mean, it's usually a couple-week trip, and it's just nonstop.
Dude, it's nonstop, like all day and all night. You don't know what you might be laying down in your rack, and all of a sudden, everyone's yelling, fish on. So you jump out, you're grabbing it. It's just all times of day and night. So that was crazy. That was really a crazy experience, but one I treasure with my father.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So after the military, you finally picked up fishing again. And so, like, how did your path, I mean, obviously your path has kind of came via social media. Did you ever, how did it happen? And did you ever expect this?
No, never expected. So not even being in the fishing industry, not being what's called an influencer or a creator or whatever you want to call it. That is not even something I even think could happen, nor was it one of my goals. It just wasn't in the cards for me. But my son, when I was fishing, he said, why don't you just start an Instagram? And this was back in 2016, 17, when you can just post pictures with 80 different hashtags and still be able to, grow.
Get some reach.
Before Meta.
Before all that. And then, so I did it, and I reached 1,000, really relatively fast. And then that's when I was just a consumer on the side of for Cast King. And so that went from being a consumer to saying, hey, thought I was cool back then. Hey, I got 1,100 followers. They're like, oh yeah, we'd love to have you on the team.
Right.
And so became a brand ambassador, then became a manager over the brand ambassadors. And then when they figured out I left my job, I was working for the Bureau of Land Management as a federal oil field inspector. Once I left that job, they said, hey, we'd love to bring you on board. And so it's kind of just what happened.
That's awesome.
That is awesome, man. That's a cool story. I mean, it just shows that it's all not for nothing, I think.
Right.
In that space of social media.
With all the negative that can come with social media, it has opened up some new career paths and opportunities for a lot of guys who have put in the time and, for the most part, just really stayed true to themselves and what they do and just having a passion for the outdoors and just sharing it with everybody.
Absolutely.
Now, did you ever feel like that, did you ever expect the outdoor industry was what it is once you got in? I mean,
well, it's changing.
it is.
So I'm relatively new to being really inside the industry. But yeah, because you always know that what you see, there's people behind the curtains making the moves, big time names, movers and shakers, where they give the ultimate yes or no's, but nobody really knows who they are outside of the industry. So you see a lot of that, and you see a lot of it kind of exposes how stagnant the market really was, and the ones that aren't going to take social media influencers and creators seriously are the ones that are going to just kind of fall by the wayside. And the ones that are hitting it correctly, not just 100%, but hitting it correctly,
right?
You're seeing those are the ones that you're seeing grow.
Yeah. And I was chatting with somebody yesterday on the terms of hitting it correctly and choosing the correct guys to represent your brand and your company. You've really got to be able to weed through the BS in terms of, okay, how long's this guy actually been shooting archery per se, and he's got 16.7 thousand followers. He's only posted 65 times. Something's not adding up here. This guy's probably not as legit as what his numbers look.
Absolutely.
Whereas a lot of companies just pop open his account. Okay, he's got 16.7 thousand. Let's write him a contract and get him on staff when he may not be a right fit for the company at all.
Yeah.
Now, that's one of the pluses of social media. I think for a lot of people that say, oh, we put too much is out there, I think it really exposes a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, you're able to really expose, are you really an angler, or are you just doing it for the clout? So you can really investigate, and then you can kind of see, and this dude comes off as a real D-bag online. Well, he probably is. You know what I mean?
And you meet him. You meet him.
Yeah. And it takes, when you meet him face to face at a show or something, it takes about 30 seconds to realize what you're actually working with.
And I think, and Jose, this is kind of like a question/statement, I guess. Like, I remember my first time going to ICAST, and I remember walking down the aisles and seeing the anglers and seeing Mike Iaconelli whisked away behind a curtain to get a deal done with so-and-so or whatever. But then, other anglers approaching a smaller booth and seeing those interactions. And it's just like, it's intense, especially when an angler's like, oh, this is really nice. And he, tries to drum up that conversation. And the business, the small business, is like, well, we really can't afford to do anything major right now. And then, it's like all of a sudden the conversation dies. Angler walks away, and not putting anybody on the spot, but it's real and it happens. It can be intense, man.
Yeah,
it definitely can. And yeah, that's, you brought that up. So, for people that last year was my first ICAST. It was just finally where everything kind of aligned, and they said you need to be there. And I had just, like you said, the meetings. So that's a big thing, like how important those meetings are. Because at the casting booth, we had this gigantic tower with the meeting room inside of the tower.
Right. So
it was like constantly just like this person, this executive, this angler, this. And then it's like, what are they doing here? Why do they have a meeting? Everything's happening behind those closed doors. It's amazing what happens behind the closed doors and at these shows.
It is. And I think even the other two shows now are getting to that level. The Red Crest and the Bassmaster Classic are getting to the level of ICAST, if not probably passing it by before not too long.
Yeah, I think so. And especially a lot of people, whether they're a creator or whether they're a professional or trying to make it, they have to realize now how important those face-to-face conversations are becoming.
Yeah.
Especially for the brand. If a brand wants to invest in you, they're investing in you as a person. So that face-to-face, that talking, that networking is, that's not gone away. And that's super, super important in this industry. I've realized that over the past couple of years.
Yeah, it's extremely invaluable. No, there's relationships I still have today that I've had for going on 7-8 years now that I would not have those if we had to do it through DM or email or less formal forms of communication. And sure, that's how we keep up now, via email. I may only chat with a guy once a year, but from that initial one-on-one conversation, he knows who I am, he knows what I'm about, he knows what the brand's about, and what we're able to provide for the company. And he's still willing to make that investment in us because he knows it's a two-way street. It's a relationship with the company as far as a brand partnership, and we're looking to be mutually beneficial and not just some guy showing up, hand out, kick me some product, and then you never see or hear from him again.
No,
he just
never
wanted a
again.
few pieces of free gear, and then he was gone.
No, for sure.
Yeah, and I think maybe some of that's changing just a little bit because I think there's probably better stipulations now than there was back a few years ago. I think for most brands. Now, as far as Cast King goes, you guys had big news at freaking Bassmaster Classic, man.
Yeah, the signing of Bill Dance.
Yeah.
And a household name.
Yeah.
Right.
Just bottom line, you don't even know maybe even anything about fishing, but people know who Bill Dance is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dude, that's just huge, and that says a lot about Cast King and how much Cast King is rising to the top of the ranks with all the other gear that's out there on the market. That Zach actually messaged me today. We was talking about something, and he come across the reel of one of your sling packs that you guys have got. He's like, "That's so cool. I need that." And it was like,
got my name all over it.
Yeah. It was like, hey, yeah, that is cool. People are noticing, and that's cool. It's showing up here. And Bill Dance, dude, how was that?
Yeah, that's huge.
That was incredible. And that's not something we did not go after Bill Dance. Didn't even know that he was leaving Stren. He was with Stren longer than I've been alive, and that's for 40 something years he was with them. It just all came just through a conversation, and then they said, "Oh, well, let's introduce you to this person," and then it just came into our president stayed a few days with him in his hometown, and but signing of him that ruffled a lot of feathers. You know what I mean? Because he could have went anywhere, and believe me, we're not we don't have the money where we're just throwing it,
right?
We're but at the same time we're a small challenger brand, so we can do different things. We can invest in different stuff. We can go through avenues that a bigger company wouldn't necessarily take. We could take those risks, and you can see it. You can see it at the shows. You can see people coming to us. You can see people coming up to me and saying, "You guys are the best booth. You guys are the most welcoming. You guys, everything. You guys are so great." Chad, you saw the traffic. Even though the traffic wasn't big for the show, the traffic at our booth was pretty consistent.
Well, and there was with your guys' booth, and this is, I think, a very important statement. There was somebody there to help you at all times. If somebody stood at a section where the rods are, you had 2 different areas, 3 different areas where there was rods. And, there was always somebody on the move to make sure that whoever was there got some kind of help, got some kind of answer with any question that they had. And I think that was important, whereas some booths, especially, we're always dressed nice. We've all got our button-up shirts on, and that's different. We got our name tags, but you can walk through some booths and people will look you off.
Yeah, they don't even acknowledge you.
Yeah,
they
look
do. At you like,
you're just another person through. You don't have a name tag.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference in the smaller company in an industry that large that is still hungry and trying to gain more market share, right? Every customer means something to that smaller company, where these larger industry giants that have been around a long time, they know they're going to make sales. They may not necessarily feel like they need to go speak to every single person that comes in their booth anymore,
right?
Because they feel like they've made it, and they're an industry icon or a staple or what what have you. The smaller companies, every person that comes in that booth, it means the world to them, because they're there to see the product they work so hard to put out there on the shelves and on the tables for folks to see and put in their hands.
and that extends beyond, just that show. That
Right.
a lot of, I don't want to speak exactly on what Bill Dance's relationship with them was, but it was along the lines of what I've continuously heard. They blow us off. They don't take care of us. They don't email us. They don't return our emails. They don't return my phone calls. And this is something that has been consistently said to me. So like when we signed James Elam at Bass Pro Tour Pro, I went to he's about an hour and a half away from me. I went up to his house. We hung out, shot some content. And he was just so amazed that I took time out of my day to meet with him. And I'm like, this is all I know. This is all I know. This is what I'm supposed to do. You're right. Our pro. I'm supposed to take care of you. You need something? Here, let's shoot some videos. Do some. And it was just, this is something I'm continuously hearing, and that's why I talk about some companies being stagnant and just being like, we don't got to do all that small stuff.
There's still a place. I mean, even though that social pages are harder than ever to reach without spending money.
Big time.
There's still a place in 2023 for grassroots guerrilla marketing. And I think what the kayak industry shares a lot with someone like Cast King is the fact that, yes, we've been here for a while, but we're still elevating. We're still climbing. We're still having to be personal. Like, Jackson Kayak does the fun tours, where we're popping up at OKC, which is a dealership near you.
Yeah.
And we'll have a fun tour out there. We've got a crew actually coming out that way before long, and they're going to do a pop-up. The Whitewater team is going to be there, do some demos, talk about kayaking, drink some beers, and send them home with some pizza. I mean, that's just, there's still a place for in-person grassroots marketing, guerrilla grassroots marketing. And I think it's the wave, man. I can tell, just like you, after being at Red Crest, the sales and that came from those interactions. And we got to visually see that those hands-on moments transpiring to the sell-through through our dealer that we worked with it was magnificent. And it was humbling and appreciative at the same time. I think that's the right wording. So yeah, I think 2023, man, there's still place for somebody like Cast King and what you guys are doing. I think that's huge.
I appreciate that. And it's kind of the way we take it. We treat everyone, we treat everyone with respect, treat everyone as family. And, we have a rule. You step as a consumer or whoever, even at iCast, whoever, they step foot on that market. You have 3 seconds to interact with that person. And iCast is different. It's not about sales.
It's about dealer interaction.
Or they could be, a lot of, see a lot of them, they turn their badges around. So you don't see that they're a buyer or something like that, because they don't want people to gouge them. So, but that one interaction, that one handshake, that one whatever can turn into so much more. So that's why we do that. We take pride in that. People come and say, you guys are the best reps that we've had out here. You get us, you talk to us, you're so inviting. And we take that to heart. That's how we're going to win. That's how we're going to win.
Yeah.
It's like throwing a kid that's standing on the bank a bag of baits and being like, here you go, buddy. Same thing.
Yeah, it's funny you said that last day. So I let one booth hold those combos we were blowing out for 3 for $100. He just had one because he had his rod sock on it. And I was walking past him and he's like, hey, I still have this combo. I was like, oh crap. Like everything's sold, everything's gone. So I saw his family, gave it to this kid. And the way him and his parents lit up by me giving him that combo, I mean, that was the most amazing thing. And so, that's like you said, that one time, I just turned around and said, hey, kid, here's a gift. And he just, they were just yelling and jumping. And I was like, it took me by surprise. I was like, oh, gosh. But like you said, those one interactions, I could change a kid's life.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Zach and I have both seen it. We've done. I remember our first kayaks, and I don't know how much you remember this, Zach. We actually spent a whole day out in the rain with these kayaks sitting underneath a gazebo, just just talking about the kayaks to kids and fishing and different things like that. And it'd quit raining, and then we'd run out and fish, and then another spring rain had come in, and I'd lost my hatch lid off my kayak, and my kayak was filling up with water. It was just it was a nasty day, but you know, that was cool. I mean, and these kids are probably graduating high school by now, Zach.
Long past that, I would imagine.
Gosh,
it feels like forever ago.
It has been, but it's just those interactions. I think they go a long way, and I've seen it, through a few kids in my local area, just talking about fishing, trying to make a good example online. And I think, man, seeing them fishing now and doing the high school tournaments and stuff like that, it's really cool. It's really cool to know that I had just maybe a small part, if anything. So now moving on.
Deserves the sport. So
it is. We're all stewards. Moving on a little bit. What do you guys got coming up? Anything good? Anything good at Cast King? Top secret. Orion podcast special release. Cast King. What do you got for us?
So we're coming out with roughly over 100 products over the next couple months. So we continue to push that innovative stuff. Things sling bags or that line gobbler. The line spoiler. Take it off with your drill. I know that's been done before, but we have a smaller, cheaper version. We have so much stuff coming out. It's kind of ridiculous, but we do have something big coming out.
Bigger than
soon.
Bill?
Right? How do you do that?
I don't know if you can.
You can't. You can't. But iCast is going to be interesting for sure.
I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to see what you guys drop. I've been using the Mega Jaws here the last few weeks, and
what do you think about that, Rio?
It cast a freaking mile.
Yeah.
Instant wording. It cast a mile. Once I got it set, the backlashes are gone. I tend to run them a little bit hot, so it took me just a few clicks to dial it in. You've got micro clicks to adjust. Obviously, your braking and your tension. But I set the hook on a huge piece of my fence out in the backyard just to rear back on something with that rod real quick to see what it was all about. It flexed. It did what I wanted it to. You can really feel the rock and the different things dragging across there. And I've got, so I bought the 7.3 jig worm rod. Love it. It's a very responsive rod from what I can tell, though, so far. Light as a feather. That's probably when I picked up the Cast King Speed Demon Pro rod for the first time. It was like, holy cow! I mean, it was an instant. This is light. This is the lightest rod I think I've picked up. Set that down. I walked over to the Mega Jaws. We went through. You and I went through every reel that you guys had, from the Deadbolt all the way down the Mega Jaws line, and it's crazy. It's the lightest combo I have ever picked up. Jason Cassidy, who's in the comments tonight, he stopped by last week, and he picks it up and he's like, "Are you serious? Holy cow!" And I mean, he's like, you've already seen him in your DMs. You've already seen him in your DMs. He was super stoked on him. But yeah, the braking system, the way it opens and closes, you've got the 4 different discs, and it's all just it's Spider-Man crap going on inside there, dude. And then, like I said, man, it's incredible how far it freaking casts. That's out of the gate. The power's there, the castability is there, and I think there's a lot of people sleeping that need to probably wake up and take a look. And then you guys have just dropped a new reel that I'll let you tell us about too.
Yeah, well, you covered pretty much all of it with that Mega Jaws Elite. That is a ridiculous reel that's coming out of our own factory, and that's like you said, the castability from it, super fast, but along with it, the accuracy, and it's built like a freaking tank.
I got a second one just right here for folks at home.
Yeah, Yeah, that Mega Jaws Elite. I mean, a lot of people it is what it is. All right. Cast King was, of course, known for their more affordable options, right? The $30 reels or $40 reels. That's kind of what put Cast King on the map.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have Elite's level stuff because that's the stuff that our pros, our big names, that's what they're using.
Right.
And so when someone says, well, I bought one of your $20 reels and it didn't last, I'm kind of like, you bought one of our $20 reels,
right.
And I get it.
Right.
We're going the opposite way. Normally you want to start off with the high end and then offer more affordable options. It's an uphill climb when we started here. And then now here's a $300 reel. Here's a $129 reel. But when someone says, hey, I really want to give, just like we talked, Chad, you're like, I really want to give Cast King a hard shot.
Yeah.
So I put that reel in your hand. I said, this is the one you want.
Yeah.
If you want to give us a try and really see what we're about without breaking the bank, that's it. And you cannot find another $129, $150 reel anywhere close that's
no
in that performs like that reel.
No, I don't think you can. I think for the whole setup to basically be in it, near $250, probably close with taxes, for a Speed Demon Pro rod and then the Mega Jaws Elite reel. I mean, you're talking. That's some serious hitting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what your pros are using.
Yeah, that's the same setup they're using.
Up until right now, when the new stuff just is getting ready to drop.
That's it, and a lot of them they're still using that stuff because that's what they like to use.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like with our new one, like the MG12.
That's pretty.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it is.
It's real small, right? Really, really.
Yeah.
Chad, did you get the hold one Did I put one of these in your hand?
No, there wasn't at Red.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. But so it's a palm perfect design. You held the Kestrel. If anyone's held the Kestrel, that's our BFS reel. It's pretty much based off that same little palm perfect design. So this is what James Elam is using. This is what Skeet Reese is using. Cliff uses mainly his deadbolt and the Speed Demon Pro Series, and then Brent Chapman uses a lot of the Bassinators. And I'm not sure. I know he has these. I just don't know the extent of how much if he loves it or not. But everyone has absolutely loved them. So it's 4.8 ounces. If you look at that one that you have, that's 6.5. You're saying how light that one is. I mean, just imagine how 4.8 ounces is going to be.
Good stiff wind, blow that out of the boat.
Yeah, it's almost like it's not even there. But it's called MG12 from, if you look at the periodic table, the name for magnesium is MG12. So that's where it came up with the name because it's a full magnesium frame and carbon fiber side plates. That's how it gets so low. That's how we were able to get the weight down. It's got that AMB braking system in it.
Yes, sir.
So you have two that are lighter springs, and then you have your other ones that are like a much stiffer spring. And so, think of it. The best analogy I've seen is a figure skater when they turn in circles, right? If they spring out, if they put their hands out, it slows them down. So that's pretty much what this is doing. There's not necessarily magnets or anything crazy. It's literally just physics.
Right.
And so it's
some Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, some Spider-Man, it's awesome, the technology. And this is our braking system. So you're not going to see that in any other reel. But it's a beautiful reel. And these already come with 2 super speed bearings already in them. So you can replace them if you want, but this reel is an absolute monster.
That it is. And you guys have got more coming, obviously, down the road here as we move closer to ICAST. But with that being said, I think proof's in the pudding, and some people are really gonna start to notice, I think. And it's just like meeting you and putting the reels in my hand. It was like, this is it. And I'll never forget, dude, what I told you when you showed me the deadbolt. And for those of you that don't know what the Cast King deadbolt reel is, it has no drag. There's no wheel on the side. That dude is 110%. You set the hook, it's 100%. It is power. It is power at hand. And I'm gonna say it again. It's the key to my heart, little buddy. I mean, any man that's ever thrown a jig goes, yeah. I would be I gotta have one of those. Zach needs to touch that one too. Anybody that likes setting the hook, I think a deadbolt's for you.
Yeah,
sounds like I'll be raiding your boat when I come home.
If you slam a hook set, and especially frog, I mean that's a different feeling on that thing. It's literally just bam, and then you just put that fish goes on water skis, just to the boat. I mean, there's no give, there's no pull, it's just boom, and then just play with it in the boat, not in the water. That's what we like to say about it. But it's an incredible reel. And, again, with us having our own factories, with us being, here's what we did that nobody can do. That went from a piece of paper idea at ICAST to 10 months later being in the consumer's hands.
Yeah.
No company can do that. So that's how fast we can move. That's how much we're going to be pushing innovation even more. And the big push that now we are available retail.
Yeah.
At the Classic, I was working Sportsman's Warehouse, moving product for casting. And so you're going to see us more retail. Your local tackle shops, if they use either Big Rock or Pittman Creek, that's who our distributors are, and that's who we use. But you're going to be seeing more and more of us.
That's going to be cool, man. It's going to be cool, and it's always good to have fresh faces in fishing. I think it's time. It's time for some fresh faces. Let's get back to you, though, dude. Let's get back to you.
All right.
Where in the heck did Bait and Bougie come from?
Oh, man. So you remember that song, that Bad and Bougie? Migos?
Yeah.
So it was just a play off of that back in 2016, 17, whenever I made the name. But the account stayed stagnant for a long time. I stopped just life and dealing with, stuff. And then March 10th, last year, that's when I was like, you just saw it. You just saw it all over the place. Reels, post reels.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I'll give it a shot. And it kind of just, boom, took off. I found a rhythm. I found what works for me. And here, a lot of things is that I post so much continuously. Like people think I have special apps or I have a team, and it literally takes me minimal effort. I don't use a special app for editing. People ask me, what app do you use? What this? I edit everything right there in Instagram. Each post takes me 5-10 minutes max on the high side. But yeah, it doesn't take much, but I found what works, and I just buckled down and started doing it.
Yeah, I think for anybody that really truly wants to know the truth, I mean, Zach and I, if it wasn't, I mean, we built ourselves through our phones, built ourselves once and built ourselves again, so to speak. I mean, it's amazing what you can do with a little Palm computer.
It is, people, you hear it all the time. Well, I don't have time, or I don't have a camera. I have a mirrorless Sony camera, and I never use it. Unless you're doing something, Chad, you understand, unless you're doing something focused, detailed for a specific company. But if it's just me, my phone is just fine for social media. And just snap it real quick, edit it. It's just going to get compressed and look like crap anyways on Instagram. So, so there's no point in pulling out the mirrorless camera and doing all this editing when.
So you're talking about your frequency of your post, like you're sitting around and this is like light bulb kick on. It's like, that. I mean, because you're working too, and then it's like, I got an idea.
Sometimes it's I got an idea, or sometimes if it's like, say it's Sunday afternoon, relaxing, just had lunch after church and whatnot, and you're just sitting around. Sometimes I'll just get that gerbil starts running. And if I'm in a creative mood, I will sit there and in an hour have everything laid out for the entire week.
That's awesome.
If it just starts turning. And I've learned that if I'm in that mood, if I'm in that mind space, then I need to sit my butt down and get it done.
Yeah.
And I'll also stop myself. If I'm scrolling aimlessly, I'll stop. Like, all right, no ideas are coming. You know what I mean? being a zombie right now. I need to just keep working.
Zach has rabbits and I have squirrels. You've got gerbils.
Yeah, I got a gerbil in there.
Welcome to that. Welcome to that brotherhood.
Yeah.
So, I mean, tell us. I mean, dude, you come up with some wild stuff. I have to admit it. It's great.
So that's another thing. Be yourself on social media, because you can smell through the BS a mile away. And these jokes I crack, the way I do Stabby, that's really how I am. I mean, it takes a certain, of course, my comedy, sometimes people think I'm pushing the limits on purpose, or I'm doing this and that, or I'm trying to be controversial. Like, no, if you're so think about it. This is another play on it. Look at your group text between you and your closest friends. What are you sharing each other? It's not a picture of me holding a 1 pound bass going, shout out to all my sponsors. That's not what's happening. It's something relatable. It's something funny. It's something inappropriate, probably,
Most likely inappropriate.
Yeah.
So, if you want stuff that's going to be shared, you want stuff that's going to go quote unquote viral or take off or it's got to be relatable, shareable content.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And, I still think to that too, there's still a place for people that just want to be creative. I think if I look at my feed and something might not take off, and I'm okay with it. I've reached the okay with it because it's what I like to do. Like if I take my Sony, or Zach takes his Sony out, we enjoy filming that way, but it's for us to build that type of content is what makes us genuinely happy. And I think for people, that's one of the things that I would tell anybody is make something that makes you happy, because at the end of the day, creating content's creating art. It's creating something that other people see, either makes them happy. We hope it makes them happy. I guess that would be my wish, that anybody that looked at something that I made, it makes them happy. And I don't sound like a douchebag, or don't put anybody down in a way that makes them feel in a negative space.
No, you're 100% right. You have to love what you do.
Yep.
And, but you can tell who has a passion for it and who doesn't.
Yeah.
That's why if you're not funny, don't try to be funny.
No,
if you're not like you guys have a certain look, a feel, and if you can't accomplish that correctly, or you're just trying to mimic other things, we could see that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
It really exposes the ones that are doing it because they love it, and the ones that are doing it for the wrong reasons, i.e. money or followers or sponsorships or stuff like that. You can see it and you can smell it a mile away.
Yep. I would agree. We all see it. And the ones that reek of it bad, most generally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the hard part. And at the second, usually, that the conversation starts, like you said, what was it? Zach, you might remember this. It takes so many seconds for it. The brain registers a negative comment instantly, but it takes, I can't remember if it's 15 seconds for the brain to register a positive thought, because we're so used to negative thoughts. So, usually you can tell pretty quick if somebody's pretty negative, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being on the marketing team, I'll deal with quite a few personalities, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of some anglers are a lot more high maintenance than others.
Yes.
They're a little more bougie.
Yeah, a little too bougie, more bougie than I am. But yeah, you could just feel it. A lot of times it's, do they pass the vibe check?
Yeah.
I mean, the professional term would be this, I guess, the sniff test. Like, how do you pass?
I don't know if we can call that a professional term in 23, but
yeah, I know. But yeah, I every time I hear that, I'm like, okay, I try to keep it out there.
Back to the inappropriate.
Back to the inappropriate stuff that I cannot say.
Well, yeah, dude. Pretty much, they pass the vibe check, and if they don't vibe right, then there's something there.
Yeah, I mean, with everything going on everywhere, from geopolitical to my day to day, I don't have time for the negativity.
Mm-mm.
I've only got time for positive people who are ready to make stuff happen.
Yeah.
No time for negative Nancy's in this world.
No, because it's easy. It's easy to get caught up in that negativity. And at the end of the day, you start arguing with someone, you're both not going to change your minds. You're just going to be angry.
No, and all that time you sit around complaining or being negative about junk, you could have got something accomplished and, made something positive out of the situation.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So that's a big thing I tell a lot of the brand ambassadors, like, you got to cut out the chest beating negativity. Listen to me only. It's like, dude, cut that out. There's too much of that.
Yeah, nobody
too much
cares
of
about
that. Nobody cares.
But with that being said, and kind of one other thing I think that I would state, as far as fishing, archery, kayaks, boats, whatever you want to say, sunglasses. If you don't think all these guys talk to each other, you're nuts. So name dropping does nobody no good, because we all know each other fairly well. And if we don't, we're meeting each other constantly, especially at these shows and dinners and different things like that go on.
The industry is way smaller than most folks think it would be.
Oh yeah, it's tiny, because then it's a lot of, wait, how do you know that person? Wait, how do you guys know each other? There's a lot of that.
Tons of it. And so planning ahead, man, for you, for yourself, what are you getting into this summer for you, man? How are you going to max and relax? What are you fishing? What are you doing?
Man, that's a good question. So we're going to take our travel trailer, the beauty of working remotely, take our travel trailer out to San Diego for, we got an RV park right there on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
So,
nice.
And of course, through, I guess, one of the pluses of social media, I got buddies already down there that said they got their spare kayaks are ready for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably what I'm going to be doing, a little bit of that. If one of the kids wants to go out on one of the larger boats, then, maybe some of that. But mainly I wanted to start hitting a lot of new waters.
Mm-hmm.
I started doing a lot of the research into fisheries and what's getting stocked. And, that's a rabbit hole to really go on, especially a lot of these small town public lakes,
mm-hmm.
And then you're like, what do you mean they put F1s in there back in, 1992 or something like that? This is a huge rabbit hole to go underneath. So I want to hit a lot of new waters, a lot of small public waters that are a little south of me. So
cool.
That's the plan.
Fishing
that'd be cool.
Any tournaments or anything like that going on, or you just staying away from that because that's too much work related?
Yeah, because people, ones that don't compete, they don't understand how much pressure, preparation, time, and when I'm already working it, and then at the same time I'm also doing my own stuff, throwing in that. Now, is that to say that I won't? We'll see. I'm always down to be a co-angler. If someone calls and say, hey, you want a co-angler? I'm always down to do that.
Yep.
As far as getting on some trails, that's not necessarily something I want to deal with right now.
I understand, man. That they're even for me, man. There's days where it's just nice to go out, leave the camera. I'll have my cameras in my truck and I'll leave them in my truck, and it's just I'm just going out there for me sometimes, and I need that break because there's times when you do this 365 days a year like it is for us, you need to remember why you love it.
Yeah.
You're 100%.
Yeah. Just clear the head. Don't think about anything else but what's right in front of you.
Yep. Remember why you love it. And I think that's the key. If anybody's looking for the key to not burn out in this sport and not get tired of fishing and go, I quit, I'm going to take a little break. It's go out and just have fun. Try that sometime. It's amazing what it'll do. Drink a beer in your boat. It's the best thing you could ever do. I've had days, man, and I feel like you've probably guys had these too, man. It's just like you're out there, you're cruising around, you're fishing, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna sit here in the boat and just rock with the waves and just stare out into the abyss for a little bit, and it's pretty good.
It is. There's a few times where I'll be up a creek or river, just frustrated because, you know what I mean. I'm not catching them anything, but then I'll just like once it gets stressful, like you said, and I'm not having fun. Then it's time I'll just turn on my little Bluetooth radio and to listen to music and just enjoy the trees and going upstream and just start relaxing, watching the wildlife and start having fun again. Start scrolling Instagram and got the motor just going, going down the bank, and it's just relaxing. But I guess that's also a good way to tell if I had a good day or a bad day. If I've got the music blasting, the fish aren't biting. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
and for Zach in the hunting space, if you fall asleep and have a good nap, you really don't know if it was a good day or a bad day.
Yeah. Or if I've ate all my snacks by noon and I'm taking a nap on the side of the mountain, we probably didn't hear any elk bugle. So.
But it was a good day.
Yeah, oh yeah. It's always a good day.
I think
beat those views.
There's just something about the endorphins that kick in when you're outside and just let off those good vibes. You just breathe that fresh air. 90s children growing up. Yeah, it's just something about being outside, man. It's just a good thing. It's just good times. It's where you belong, out in the streets till the lights come on.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Jay, see, we did have one question for you. We got a question from the audience.
Any retailers in Canada there?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's not something I'm 100% sure on. Yeah, that's a different. But I could find out for you.
You probably got a dealer locator deal on the website, or no?
No, not yet. That's
okay.
Still something we're still working on with our once we gain more retailers. But
right.
Canada.
Okay. Jason Cassidy says today's podcast is brought to you by Black Dog Brewing Company. Actually, today's podcast was brought to you by water. High quality H2O. When you're around
Sparkling
good people,
water.
Sparkling water. See? Everybody's drinking water today on today's podcast. I got
a little salt in mine, a little sea salt.
I'm on the cleanse kick. Since I come back from Red Crest, I'm on the water kick till October.
Oh wow!
I won't make it that far. Lie to yourself. I'm about 3 days away. We got a Jackson Kayak. I got a Jackson Kayak Fun Tour. I got Jackson Kayak tournaments. I'll be back to form here in a few days. So, but man, well, we appreciate you being on here, and I don't want to take up more of your time. I wish we had the clogging guy to send us out.
that stuff like that we can do being a challenger brand, and him having that Tennessee mixed with Bill Dance. It was awesome having up there. He was a big hit. There was a lot of people. Crowd.
That dude blew up out of nowhere.
And he is just as he's a really good guy. He's awesome.
Oh, I bet.
Really
I bet
nice
it
was.
I can imagine the experience for him is just humbling.
This was his first anything that big, as far as on the outdoors fishing world,
right?
And I walked him around a little bit, and once people kept stopping him, I was like, all right, you're on your own. But he was just like, this is. I was just trying to explain to him how I'm like, this is the classic. I mean, you got to hear about it,
right?
It's the classic.
Yeah,
words cannot describe the classic.
That's awesome, and I'm sure he had a blast too. He probably. I mean, I just can't imagine. I mean, it looked like a party, dude. It looked like a party. I was texting Jameson. I was like, "We should be at the Classic. It looks like this. It looks like a party, man." So, in a way, we'll be there next year.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
our goal.
For
That's
sure.
our goal. But yeah. So, with that being said, dude, I'm gonna let you thank the people you need to thank. Tell people where to find you more on the socials. Tell them how to get some casking.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, so first off, let me plug my social medias, but it's Bait and Bougie, bait _N _bougie on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. I'm on TikTok a little here and there, but that's where I'm most active. But casking.com is pretty much the place where you can get everything that we offer. Yeah, if you do have Amazon, then that's great too, because Amazon Prime will get it to you within 2 days. Check everything out. Be also sure to subscribe and follow everything that Casking's got going on all of our different social media channels. And of course, thank you to Orion Coolers for having me on the show. I really appreciate that. And everyone of the sponsors, Bassco. All right.
Only Bass.
Only Bass. Some of the greatest wear, super comfortable, and you cannot ask anything from a nicer company, from a great person.
Yep,
Absolutely love them. And also shout out to Omega Custom Tackles. They've helped me out a lot this year, getting me a lot of my jigs and spinner baits and everything. So appreciate that. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, guys. Well, we will be back here on the Jackson Kayak / Orion podcast network. We've got a Thursday nighter. Jackson Kayak Dock Talk will be back in the studio. So tune in, meet with us 8 p.m. Thursday night for Jackson Kayak Dock Talk Orion podcast. We'll see you in 2 weeks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Jose, for being here.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you. Yeah, thanks,
See you guys.